let's look at the best PVE spec for Rogue in Wrath of the Lich King. Hello everyone, it's Ego, and today we will be diving into the Assassination Rogue. Now, I will be looking at primarily the max level rating side of things. However, this guide does apply for leveling an Assassination Rogue as well, especially from 70 to 80. They are extremely powerful, and I dare say the most sought after rogue spec when it comes to rating. So in this video, we're going to be going through a brief overview of what I think about the Assassination Rogue. We're going to go through their talents, we're going to go through their rotation, we're going to go through their glyphs, we're going to go through their gear, we're going to go through so much stuff. So let's get right into it. Hey everyone, before we continue, don't forget to subscribe. It's free, it shows support, and it really does help the channel grow. Don't forget to also leave a like before you leave. Thanks everyone, let's get back to the video. Starting off with what I think about the Assassination Rogue, and I have one word for this: overpowered. The Assassination Rogue can output so much damage in so little time, and its consistency for the damage is almost unmatched. I see myself topping the charts consistently in my raids with my guild, and I can say that as I get more gear, it gets even better, as you would imagine. The rotation is simple, it's easy to pick up, and not to mention, it's daggers too. It's not swords or fist weapons. Like, what better rogue thing than daggers, man? Really. All in all, though, it is an amazing spec compared to the other two specs that are available to Rogue. Now, Subtlety is going to be more of your PvP spec, but I do believe that there is a hemorrhage build that you can do for PvE. I'll look into it. But I know for combat rogues are good, but they're primarily used for their little physical damage buff that they provide using their poisons. Now, when you have an arms warrior, combat rogues kind of become a little bit redundant, and you most likely want your rogue to go to assassination for the higher damage output. But I will do a guide as well on combat rogues, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to sub to the channel for that. Also, if you guys do like the content, leave a like down below. It really does help. So, without further ado, let's jump into my favorite section, which is the talents. Okay, so let's move into the talents and the gear. So, first off, the assassination talents, we're going to dive right into the assassination tree. So we're going to go 5 out of 5 in malice. We're going to go 3 out of 3 in puncturing wounds. We're going to grab 3 out of 3 in ruthlessness. We're going to grab 5 out of 5 in lethality. We're going to jump to the vile poisons, 3 out of 3. 5 out of 5 improved poisons. And then we're going to start diving into the amazing skill Cold Blood, where you get a 100% chance to critical strike on your next offensive ability. Fleet-footed, 2 out of 2. We're going to go for Seal Fate, 5 out of 5. Murder, 2 out of 2. Moving down, Overkill. And then we're going to go Focus Attacks, 3 out of 3. We're going to go to Find Weakness, 3 out of 3. We're going to go to Master Poisoner, 3 out of 3. We're going to pick up Mutilate, which will be our main damaging ability. We're going to jump down to Cut to the Chase. Your Eviscerate and Envenom abilities have a 100% chance to refresh your Slice and Dice duration for its 5 combo point maximum. And then Hunger for Blood, which is going to be just a straight up damage boost for your rogue. Next up, we're going to move into the combat tree. So there is a little bit of debate on people wanting to grab Relentless Strikes instead of going for the Lightning Reflexes. This is entirely your choice. I've had better results with just grabbing opportunity and then just going into lightning reflexes for the melee haste. But regardless, you will want to get dual wield specialization. 5 out of 5. You're going to go into precision, which increases your chance to hit with poisons and your weapons by 5%. You're going to go to close quarters combat, which is going to give you those critical strikes, and those critical strikes will actually pair with focus attacks, giving you your energy regeneration. And then moving down here, again, like I said, lightning reflexes. If you did want to throw some points out of close quarters and lightning reflexes into relentless strikes, you could absolutely do that. That is your choice, but personally, I have noticed better results when I am using lightning reflexes and max close quarters combat. Now for glyphs, you're going to be looking at the Glyph of Hunger for Blood, which is just going to give you a flat out 3% damage bonus to your Hunger for Blood. You're going to go for Tricks of the Trade, or the Fan of Knives, or the Vigor Glyph. Okay, so the difference between all these three glyphs, the Tricks of the Trade is more for if you're trying to support your raid. So this is going to give your tank that bonus damage, or whoever you're giving the buff to that bonus damage. On top of that, you're also going to be able to generate that threat for your tank for an extra 4 seconds. And then if you go for the Vigor, you're going to be getting an extra 10 energy, which can increase your damage output because you're not going to have to, you're not going to be energy starved as much. And then if you go for the Fan of Knives, this is going to be more prominent for AoE. So if ever you're doing any, Naxxramas trash and stuff like that, this is really good for, just getting that extra AoE damage to the Fan of Knives. Though if you're looking to go strictly PvE, you could also do a combat, which I will do another combat guide in regards to level 80 PvE and leveling and all that with combat. Moving on, we're to the Glyph of Mutilate. Reduces the cost of Mutilate by 5 energy. So originally it would have been 60 energy. Now it is 55. So just think, if you did have that Glyph of Vigor, if my math serves me right, that would be 110, which means you can get 2 Mutilates off and you wouldn't be waiting for regeneration to actually get that second Mutilate off. For the 3 minor glyphs, I have Glyph of Distract, which increases my range of my Distract by 5 yards. This is again a quality of life glyph that will allow you to distract mobs from further. Safe Fall, increase the distance your Safe Fall ability, allows you to fall without taking damage. Again, another quality of life. I can't tell you how many times I think I'm going to take damage, but I don't, because Rogue Safe Fall is broken. Glyph of Blurred Speed, this is the best glyph that I have on my glyphs, because it lets me walk on water when my sprint is active, and this is so prominent when you're in subtlety as well, because you could refresh your sprint. So again, Blurred Speed, Safe Fall, Distract, Hunger for Blood, Tricks of the Trade, Vigor, or Fan of Knives, and then Glyph of Mutilate. Those are going to be your glyphs and your talents for the Assassination Rogue. Alright, moving on to the gear. So we're going to be looking at the gear that you're going to be wearing as an Assassination Rogue. So obviously you're going to be wanting to stack Agility. That is what a Rogue does. They stack Agility. That is your primary stat. And then from there, you're going to be looking at Haste, Attack Power, Crit, all that fun stuff. Now, what I really want to dive into is your poisons. So your poisons, you're going to have, and your daggers. Your poisons and your daggers. So you're going to have your fast dagger in your main hand and your slower, more powerful dagger in your offhand. So what's going to happen here is during boss fights, you're going to put the deadly poison on your your fast main hand, and then you're going to put your instant poison on your slow offhand. Okay, so again, deadly poison on the fast main hand, and you're going to put instant poison on the slow offhand. This is going to be for boss fights. Now, if you're doing trash pulls, you could go ahead and swap these out. So you're going to put instant on your main and deadly on your off. This is, however, a personal choice. I never switch my poisons, and I do just fine on trash. And I can pump 5k on a boss, no problem. So that's essentially what you're going to be looking for in regards to your poisons. Now, as I was mentioning with stats, to go a little bit more into the stats. So for your hit rating, in order to cap your hit rating, you're actually going to be looking at 17% hit rating in order to cap for your poisons. That's without any buffs, however. So if you have 5 out of 5 precision, you actually only need 315, which is 9.61% hit rating to make it that you never miss with your poisons. Your auto attacks, you would have to have 722, which is a lot of hit, but you just want to be able to get your poisons off because your instant poison is your main damaging ability. Now for your expertise, you're also going to be wanting to get a higher number. So without any buffs whatsoever, this is, if you're not an orc, if you don't have weapon expertise talent or anything like that, you're going to be looking at 214, which will be your expertise cap. As you can see, I'm sitting at 215. So as I mentioned, with the stats, you do have a stat priority. Agility, of course, will be your first, and then you'll be looking at hit rating, and then expertise, and then you're going to be looking at strength and attack power, haste rating, critical strike, and then armor penetration. So hit rating, expertise, agility, attack power, haste, critical strike, and armor pen are going to be your stats that you're looking for. Now, in regards to your enchants, you're going to be looking at a few things. Now, me personally, in order to reach my expertise cap, because a lot of my gear is lacking expertise, I have expertise on my gloves, I have expertise on my bracers. I really did stack the enchants that I felt that I was going to be needing in order to reach my caps. So I also have all expertise gems, and you could do this. This is probably what I recommend, because you're going to be getting a lot more value from gear that does not have any expertise on it. Like your best in slot chest has, I think, 83. It's off Malagos. It's like 83 expertise, and there's a few other pieces of gear that will give you expertise, but overall you're most likely going to be gemming expertise or attack power. And then from there, your trinkets, you're going to be obviously wanting the Mirror of Truth. This is going to be your Bis trinket that will carry over, I believe, into the next phase as well from phase 1. And then from there, you're going to obviously be wanting to get your Helmet enchant, which I believe comes from the Knights of the Ebon Hold, or the Ebon Blade. And then you're going to be wanting to get your Sons of Hodir enchant for your shoulders. And then from there, 8 stats on the chest, 12 agility on the cloak. You're wanting agility on your cloak, you could go for the max agility. You're obviously going to want berserking on both your weapons. I only have it on my Sinister Revenge because that is the best in slot for this phase. And like I said, you're going to be wanting expertise on your gloves or agility, whatever you can get on your gloves, attack power. You're going to want to put a Eternal Belt Buckle inside of your belt. You're going to want to put, again, 40 attack power, 10 crit, which I believe is, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it is a leatherworking pattern that you will find on the auction house. You're going to want agility on your boots or rings. If you're an enchanter, you can enchant those. So that will be the basics for the gear. Okay, so let's dive into a brief interview about the rotation. So once again, my poisons are deadly and instant. So what's going to happen is you're going to start stealth. You're going to come up to your mob. Immediately, what you're going to do is garrote. From there, it's going to proc Hunger for Blood. So, well, it's going to proc the ability to give you Hunger for Blood because you have a bleed effect. So you're going to pop Hunger for Blood. You're going to also pop that 1 combo point, put up Slice and Dice. You're going to immediately put 2 Mutilates in, and you're going to Envenom to refresh your Slice and Dice. Now, I will have gameplay showing this, and I will kind of do a little bit of a greater explanation on what's going on. But, as I said, come in, garrote, Hunger for Blood. You would want to pop Slice and Dice there, so I'll take off all my buffs just so I can have a fresh start. Let the combat fall off. So once again, stealth, garrote, Hunger for Blood, Slice and Dice, 2 Mutilates. You have enough time to put 2 Mutilates in, get a Slice and Dice. Boom. And that's the basics of your rotation. You will spam Mutilate after that, really. Now, building on the rotation, essentially what you're going to be doing is spamming Mutilate the entire time. And then once you have your 5 combo points, you're going to put an Envenom in there. Make sure your Hunger for Blood is always up and your Slice and Dice, rinse and repeat. Now, because of the fact that you have a talent, you actually won't need to worry about your Slice and Dice if you're constantly Envenoming, because it'll automatically refresh. The only thing that you need to keep tabs on is your Hunger for Blood. It has a 1-minute duration, which means that you will have to refresh it after 1 minute. Now, you could do this with your own bleeds or other people's bleeds, which means that if a druid is applying bleeds or a warrior is applying bleeds, then you can use their bleeds to apply it. Otherwise, you're going to want to put some combo points into Rupture in order to proc another bleed, or you can vanish and put another garrote on the target and basically redo your opener. Now, a great time to use an ability like your Cold Blood is going to be when you're doing your opener. So after those 2 first initial Mutilates, you can pop Cold Blood and do a big Envenom, which will skyrocket you onto the charts, and then you can continue to do your Mutilate, Mutilate, Envenom, Mutilate, Mutilate, Envenom, and continue that rotation basically until you have to refresh Hunger for Blood, to which you just continuously do your rotation again after that. Within that rotation, you could throw in Haste Pots, Haste Trinket if you have one, or if you're lusting, then you could just reap the benefits of the increased haste, am I right? Overall, the rotation of Assassination Rogue, as you all can see now, is not very hard. It's very easy. You're going to be hitting the top of the charts in no time, as long as you stick to your rotation. So that's going to conclude the guide for the Assassination Rogue for Wrath of the Lich King. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. You're an absolute legend. I really appreciate it. If I missed anything in this video, don't be afraid to let me know in the comments. I absolutely love to hear the feedback from my viewers. And if you enjoyed the video, as always, leave a like, sub to the channel. I would love to have you be a part of this community and the channel that is growing. So with all that being said and my shameless plugs out of the way, once again, thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you all in the next video.